As I slept on the couch, I noticed, even in my sleep, a sudden silence that woke me.
Well, here we are again. Another premiere. I wanted to talk about this show tonight a little bit more in depth because I explained this last night. I don't know that any of you heard about it, but we didn't have anybody to go in front of the camera this week or the week before. And yeah, that little piece I played, it was an experiment I was working on several months ago. I thought, oh, this will be fun to put up because I never finished it. But I was playing around with we call metahumans. None of the stuff that I use is AI. I've tried it in some of the shows. I didn't like it much at all. I'd much rather work with my own art than have some machine try to interpret the things I want. And then when it puts it out finally, it's okay, but it kind of looks like everybody else's CG or AI on their in their shows. So I think I did about 25 to 26, 28 shots. I didn't use them all, but it might have been 30 shots in a week. Then I shot myself because I knew what I was going to cover. And I was going to cover something that's in my book, but something is there. Still, I know a lot of you don't know about the book. And, every time you pay to read it on Kindle, I don't get a dime. At least I think that's about all I get. And it's been on there for years. Ever since I made the film, it goes into more detail in the film. And it's got a foreword by Yvonne Smith, and it has a lot of my illustrations and art in it and stuff like that. So I was reading through it the other day, and boy, does it need another edit. We had it edited twice, and both times they missed all kinds of stuff. So there's going to be, but it's still great. And the hard copy is really nice too, although overpriced by Amazon. So I took a story from the book about 1961. I was staying at my grandmother's place, which I stayed at all the time. My dad would come and get me, take me there, and sometimes I'd stay at his place, and a lot of times I would spend the whole summer at my grandmother's, which is only a few miles away from where my dad was, and that is a town called San Anselmo. There's an Air Force base there that no one seems to know about. It was there. It definitely was there. You can see the remnants of it. There was so much activity going on there, and I just loved the place. But on more than one occasion, stuff happened to me. And that night I was out walking with my grandfather, and we saw the big orange ball that hovered over us, and the silence happened. Yeah, I think it was that night that when I slept on the cot in the back room, that I was woken up by a feminine voice and a small little creature with a big head trying to get me up. It was very anxious to get me up. I wasn't paralyzed, and it walked me out. So you're going to get to see tonight in a 10-minute piece that entire episode of what I remember and some of what came out under hypnosis, kind of all mixed in, and you think that these things sometimes can be epic and you get an hour or 2 hours out of it, but you can't. I wouldn't want to, because when you really recollect what happened to you, it's pretty compressed. They get you, they do what they have to do, and they put you back. So, and plus, I just didn't have the time. We're moving back into the house after 3 months, almost 3 months to the day that we woke up to our house being flooded 2 a.m. No, it wasn't 3 a.m., but close. And, Yeah, and we've been working ourselves to death, getting in there, and we've been staying here, as a lot of you know, sleeping on cots with memory foam on them for 3 months, which has not been comfortable. And there's the hygiene, trying to get a bath and a shower and all that stuff, and just emotionally, in every possible way, we're worn out from it. Last night was the first night we got to sleep on our own bed because we moved all the furniture back in yesterday, and it was amazing. I mean, I just slept so well. I got up without a backache, and then we went right to work undoing boxes all day long. Lots and lots and lots of boxes, and but we're getting there. In almost 2 days, we're pretty much we have a house again, so that's really good. So I'm cutting the footage that we shot with James Lowe or James Loft. I meant to ask him. In 90 years as I've known him, how do you pronounce it? Is it Loft or is it Lowe? Some people say Lowe, say Loft. It's spelled like Loft, but and his wife Martha were here, and Jim did a great story. He told his story in 20 minutes, all the things that happened to him from the time he was a child, and then ended it, about his books. And his books really are being written to influence Congress. I mean, he sent out 200 copies of his book to people in government, trying to get them to read it. He only ever heard back from one of them. Of course, that's how they are, right? So, it's going to be another good one, but I have to try to get it done by next Saturday and include the visuals, which thankfully are easier to do than they were for my piece you'll watch tonight at 6:00. So, see, no adverts. No, well, we do have adverts. And there's a good reason for it. YouTube will put adverts in, period. I don't care who you are. If you have a YouTube channel, they're going to put adverts in there. Now, what people don't know, who are not YouTube creators and actually have studied it quite well and know how YouTube creators work and how the algorithm work, is that whether you like it or not, they put up the commercials, and the person is not paid for them. In fact, they will never be paid for them if they don't get a certain amount of subscribers and views. And thanks to all of you, we very quickly got the subscribers and the views, more than we could hope for in such an early period of time, or short period of time. And so YouTube contacted us and said, you can be a partner. Once you're a partner, then you have access to their library of better music and a lot of other features. But then the ads that they're putting up anyway, you can get money for. And Mary and I spend a lot of money on bills and camera equipment and to Adobe for the suite and for other subscriptions to other forms of software we use, and so much more, that it's costing us actually a lot of money to make this show. And so without support, the show could go under. I mean, we would not be able to keep it going. And so if you're annoyed by the commercials, I'm sorry, but we need to have them. We're going to have them anyway, no matter what you do. So you might as well let them run, because if you let them run, go get a sandwich or, do something else. look at your phone for a minute. If you let them run, we actually get paid more money for them. Now, they've been doing this now with us for, how long has it been? Not that long, about a month. And all we've grossed so far, last time I checked, was about $200. So people are clicking off the commercials as soon as they can, and when they do that, and since I've learned this, you don't get much money for them because they didn't watch the whole commercial. So when we're watching other sites that we subscribe to and people that we want to support but wish we could, if we had more money, we'd give them money too. But knowing that, we let the commercials run, and then Mary and I talk to each other and stuff. Just let it run, and in that way, you can give them money that way, and it doesn't cost you anything except having to put up with watching the commercial. And that's how it works. Honestly, that's how it works. So Plus, we do have Patreon, and a few of you have joined that, and we really appreciate it. Um, and that's great. Of course, that allows you, if you're a CE2, you get to come on the show right now. I mean, on the every other Sunday, you get to come on the show and share the show with us, and we can see your face. You can ask us questions directly or tell your story. And then we have super chat and stickers that you can give right now. It's right there, little $ thing. You click on it, and you can just support us that way. The more that's done, the longer we'll stick around, the more shows we'll be able to do. Because I'm not going to give up on this. I'm going to give it a good long year at doing the shows and stuff. And after that, if we're not doing better, we may have to go offline. It's just I this is all we're doing now, from 5 in the morning till 6 at night, and almost every day, not just Monday through Friday. So it is a job. It's a job we love doing, but nevertheless, it's a job, and so we need to have some support, at least for the studio and the money we're putting into it. I'm not looking for a paycheck particularly. I'm not looking to get rich. None of that. We need to keep the place going. So I've talked enough about that, but there will be people that watch this later on and they'll poo-poo it, but that's the way it is. It's going to happen. So, but people have to be paid for what they're doing, even if it's just the minimal to keep it going. So I talked about the show, and I'd like to, while I have time still, talk to you and look at your comments and see if there's anything that you'd like to discuss. I talked about Jim Loft. He'll be on next Saturday. I don't know who's going to be on the week after that, because we don't have anybody lined up. People are they're afraid to come forward. They've been made that way. They've been, I can't think of the word for it, but they've been conditioned. Conditions is good, because they won't talk about their experience. But if the million people out there or more that have had these experiences were to come forward all of a sudden, boy, talk about disclosure, huh? And it takes away power from the people trying to keep this under wraps, like Arrow. It also goes against the nuts and bolts UFO researchers who think we're all nuts and take away from their credibility. So if you come forward and you talk, or even send stories to Mary, which can be anonymous, that's okay. Because I'll tell you something about the anonymous aspect of it. When you read communion letters, most of those people they did not want their real names used. So what do they have to gain? The skeptics are all saying, oh, you're doing that for money and you just want to get famous and you want to have a book out. Everybody's got a book. These people don't. They don't have books or anything. They're sincere. And when you read communion letters, and I highly recommend the book, not just because I'm a friend of Whitley, it's a great book. You'll see it. And you see it when you listen to Mary's podcast. Her podcast is, I think, my favorite aspect of the entire show that we're doing. I really, really feel strongly about that, because she reads the story so well. And there you got these people. You can hear how sincere they are. And they have nothing to gain except getting it off their chest, which makes them feel better. That's their gain. So that means something's happening. That means something's really going on with it. So that's really powerful. So we need more people to come forward. And if you can if you don't want to do it personally yourself, but you might know someone who does, that would help too. It's not all about paying the bills. And oh, Mark Ware, thank you so much. Hey, that's a super sticker. Thank you, Mark. It's about helping people too, and getting them to talk about this stuff. So if you know people, we can put them on camera, or we can get their stories. So in our group here, I haven't had many people, and I know a lot of you have experiences, but you're uncomfortable about it. Maybe you're afraid of losing your job. Maybe you're afraid that your family will think you're nuts. I've been through that, boy, both of those things. And they think you're nuts. And when you talk to them and ask them about their perspective on reality, boy, and they're calling me nuts. There it is. So, but yes, I understand your fear of losing work and stuff. I hope most people know that Arrow report was not fact-based report. No, of course it wasn't. And oh, there's Anne. Hi, Anne. Oh, the candles. Yeah, we don't even have one. I mean, yeah, maybe we should. I wish they were the kind that you could put the batteries in, and they, maybe they'll come up with those next. Oh, okay, Anne, that's good. I just blew $30 playing poker. So how do you donate here? Well, there's just a little button down on the lower right side of the screen, and there's a little dollar sign in a box. And I appreciate that, guy. So, Adam, your grandfather dedicated his first ghost book to you. Wow, that's cool. We're going to an event here, June is 21st and 22nd. I think that's the weekend, and it's a very small little MUFON group that's putting on also Ciro at the Glen Tavern Inn. Look it up on Google. The place is really haunted. It's like 20 minutes from here, and it's an old Wild West tavern and sort of a hotel, or inn as they call it. And we're going to be having that there, and it's both about abduction experiences or contact with non-human intelligence, but also ghosts. And they're going to do some ghost hunting. Really looking forward to it. There's a lot of my friends are going to be there, like Jim Woff and Yvonne Smith, and a lot of other people I've known for a long time. And it's going to be great. A nice setting, and not some of these big corporate conventions like UFO Con or Alien Con. Hello, MX Ryan. I'm just looking at, I'm old school. I sent a super sticker by snail mail with the flash time. Oh, okay. See, thank you. That's right. You sent me an email. I'm sorry. I missed it. And I didn't miss it. And then I saw it. And then something happened. And, it's just been like that with moving back to the house, and everything's going on, and grandkids coming next weekend. It's putting the house back together. But thank you very much. So, Adam, you ghost hunt. Well, yeah, I there's a big relationship between ghosts and afterlife experience and UFOs and non-human intelligence. There really is. And it seems to me that it's all connected. And of course, I've had, I don't know if you call it trouble, but I think I talked about this before. I went to an avocado festival locally up here. Much of the area here is Old West buildings, places that were built before the turn of the century. And we were in this store. It was an old house that was turned into a store. And we went inside to look at stuff. And we're with people. And there's lots of people around me. And this woman starts talking. Actually, she sounded young. In the center of my head, I could hear her. And she was desperate. She was lost. She knew I could sense her and see her or feel her, and no one else could. And she was a ghost. I guess. I mean, she was died there or something and didn't know how to get home. Um, and I felt this when I walked into the place. I felt this real heavy gravity weight, and I felt like things were kind of tilting in certain spots of it. It makes you a little ill. And then her voice, and I had to get out of there. And I felt really bad that I couldn't stay and try to talk to her, but I would be talking to myself out loud in front of a whole bunch of people I didn't know, and that was just something I couldn't do. Maybe I should have done it anyway. I don't know, but there's been other occasions for this too, so it's going to be very interesting when I'm at the Glen Tavern Inn to see what happens. So, because it's not an easy thing to do, and not an easy thing to have that ability. It can be very, very sad and very oppressive, and I don't know. It's just I had a really good one in a strip club with the Grays. Wow. Okay. Yes, we do always write back as much as possible. We get a lot of email, but I know a lot of other people have gatekeepers who look at the email and they give them back sort of stock answers. We don't do that. We write back. It might take me 3 or 4 days sometimes, but I will get back. So yeah, it is all connected, Adam. And I'm hoping we'll see you again the next time we have the members chat. Oh, what equipment? Yeah, that Natalie has. Yeah, she's got a bunch of stuff. I don't have any. I just have me, and I walk in, and it's like, oh my god, this place, there's something here, and so I don't really need it, although I find it fascinating. Wow, so his hand disappeared. That's Nova. Somebody must have walked by. A person on a Saturday. No. Guy. Hey, Steve. Oh, people. Whoa, phone's going fast. Uh, yes, I mean, sure I have. The triangles are prolific. I don't think there are craft. Uh, Commercials are playing. You are getting money. I hope so. Because right now, other than my Social Security and my Screen Actors Guild pension, that's right, I was an actor. I played monsters and aliens and gorillas and other creatures in movies. Lots of ones you probably see. The Thing took 2 of my coworkers, I swear. Took them? The Thing? You mean the triangles? I guess the commercials are still playing because everyone went kind of quiet. So what I find interesting, Adam, is the hand disappearing. Maybe that seems to suggest some sort of temporal anomaly or vortex connecting 2 different realities. Am I heading in the right path? Yes. The to the triangles taking 2 of your coworkers. Wow. Do they come back? Yes, becoming a premium member is, and that's why they do that. So I don't know how it works out for people who are actually making a living off the commercials. I mean, I know people who have channels which I don't find that interesting, and they're making like $250,000 off one episode in 1 month. And it's not all about how many views it is. It's some other thing. I forget what it is. Um, what was I going to ask? Because these see, according to Yukon, it took two other women 6 hours for anything. Did they come back? Huh. Yes, we are a small channel. I mean, we're over 7,000 subscribers to other people's 1 million subscribers or more. But you again, according to everything that we've learned, we're doing very well because even the people that have 1 million or 3 million or 4 million subscribers didn't get to the level we're at in the same period of time. So evidently, we were being told you got to hang in there, you got to stay with it. It takes time, and we understand that. Switched you off. It's been seen for 30 years at the same spot. I'll tell you, Guy, nothing surprises me. The more I learn about people's reporting of their experiences and the things they've experienced, the more I realize that as a race of beings, we know very little about reality at all. We've made one, we've cherry picked a reality for ourselves, but it's in a box. And outside that box is a whole bunch more. Oh, yes. That would be great, Anne. We'd like to meet you. And if you're willing, it would be great to have your story to share with everybody else. And maybe that would get more people to come forward. Your coworkers came back. And what did they have to say? Or did they not remember anything? Because that's very typical. I mean, I've had people with me during experiences and they don't remember it later on. They'll remember it like right afterwards. And then several days later, it's bye bye. They don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Now, that's either by choice or they really don't remember. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. That's just wonderful. Yes. How do you pronounce this? It's Alchemist, right? Yeah, Alchemist 372. Thank you so much. I can only imagine what that avatar is. It's an X-ray. So um, I'm wondering if that's featuring something we should know about because I had an X-ray of my arm that Roger Lear had, and when he died, it mysteriously disappeared with the implants and everything else. But it showed that my arm had been severed, a perfect 45-degree angle cut, and I had no explanation for it because, again, the radiation, the X-ray technician or whatever he was, the guy took the picture. He was mad at me because he thought I wasn't telling the truth because I said I'd never broken an arm before or any other bone. And I'm thinking, what was that weird sound? It almost felt like static inside my head. That was weird. Maybe it's my neck. I don't know. That was really weird. I never heard that before in my life. It was like right in the center of my head, like static, like someone tuning a radio, an old style. Well, thank you, Count. I mean, we work hard at it, and we're improving all the time. I mean, just because I work in the business. Thank you, Damon. Since I've been in the business, I've been mostly behind the camera for the most part, all my career, which spans well over 50 years. And as much filmmaking as I've done, I always had other cameramen and other people doing that work. Now I'm doing all the work myself. So yeah, my experience helps me a lot with that, but I'm still finding my way with the camera really to get good image and good lighting and also to improve on the effects and the stuff you see tonight. I think you'll be surprised by it. It's if you've had these experiences, you're going to get to see the tall white being that has been with me since I can remember. And when I watched it straight through the first time myself, for the first time, I got emotional from one of my own pieces of work because it just, when I think of her and I think of what I've been through with her and everything else, I can't put it into words. I really can't. I just can't. There's just some attraction I have to her and this bond and this, it's like we're connected by the soul. I like it's hard to describe. And it's wonderful and kind of scary at the same time. I feel like somehow, and sometimes some moments, my independence and my individualism is melded, not diminished, but melded with hers. And she's very arrogant, I think. You'll get that when you see this tonight. Well, thank you, Damon. I appreciate that. What did I? That's what I used to. Oh, Guy. Okay. Yes, it is audience interactive, and that's what we wanted, Mary and I. We wanted to form a community to bring people that had a really vested interest in this, and most of you have had it all your lives, and give us, me too, a place to have community and be able to talk about this very real experience that we're having. Oh yes, that X-ray is interesting. See, now I got them all focused in on it. So tonight's it's a doozy. For 10 minutes, when I watched it, it felt much longer. It's funny about that. It's how time is relative. Multiple errors. Excuse me. Uh, wow. Yeah, I've never tried to do that myself. Oh, actually, I did, and for AJ on the White Files, and then so instead, what I did is I went to his YouTube, to his Patreon account, and subscribed at Koi level, and uh, just to keep tabs on him, and find out what's going on and when he's going to have a new show. And he's been going through a lot of personal problems, and he reached YouTube burnout too. He's a good guy, and I really love his shows. They've got me through some really bad times, especially those cancer surgeries. He kept me laughing. Damon, thank you. Well, but you're going to see a difference tonight, and you're going to see really a difference with Jim Lowe. And, I just, the lighting I had before, I just wasn't singing to me. And I finally found that sweet spot that I really like with the cameras. And this time I just shot with the Panasonic. I didn't use the Blackmagic Cinema Pro. Because what happens when I'm using two cameras is that the guest doesn't look directly into one camera or the other. They kind of look between them, and they're not looking directly into your eyes. And I think that's really important. Tracy. Okay. I keep asking myself what to do with myself. No induction, 3 encounters. You talk about it, Tracy. At least to us, you don't have to, come forward and go in front of camera. But if you join in with our community, which is completely free, and talk about it, it does help. And especially when you talk to other people who have the experience too. I mean, I went to Vaughn support groups for a number of years in the 90s, and it really helped. It did. Um, it helped me, especially after going home from them, to deal with my family, who was very skeptical and very concerned about my mental well-being. Thank you, Catkins. I really appreciate that. So yeah, that's the other thing too. If you want to know, Tracy, what to do with it, I don't know where you are in the country or the world for that matter, but just about everywhere these days, there are people who work like Yvonne Smith, um, and others, uh, with people who have these experiences. They keep it private. You don't have to necessarily do regressions. If you just want to be part of that group and go to their support groups and meet with other people, most of those people all want to be anonymous. They have nothing to gain. They just simply want to get it off their chest. And when they leave there, it helps them the next day. It helps them to sleep at night. It helps them to have a better outlook, and especially going to work. Because one of the hardest things to do is to have, okay, NC, North Carolina. The hardest thing to do is to go to work the next day after an experience, and you have to suck it up. You can't show it, and yet sometimes you just feel like you've been drugged, and you have to go, and you can't tell your family, I can't go to work today because I feel drugged. Well, what do you feel drugged from? Well, I'd like to share it with you, but you'll think I'm crazy. You can't do that with work. You have to go. It's like, the next day after surgery or something. I mean, it's just like, sometimes it is, but you have to go. And I had to do it again and again working in Hollywood. And, sometimes I had to be there very early in the morning, and I'll have some famous actor sitting in a chair staring at me, and you have to work this far away from their face, putting on little prosthetics to make them look like a creature or an old person or an alien or an ape in Planet of the Apes and that kind of stuff. And you'll never get closer. No one ever gets that close to the actors as a special makeup effects artist does, or spend 4 hours putting makeup on them. And it's got to be good because it's going to go in front of the cameras on 35 millimeter, and those cameras are going to be close. And you just had an abduction the night before. Really is something. Disorientation. Yeah, Damon. Lockheed, or you benefit something. Well, the whole thing about the abduction type thing, you hear him say many times, if you ever get a chance to ask them a question, you might ask them, why are you doing this, and what right do you have? And they will answer you back, they have every right. And you'll think a long time about that. What do they mean by that? But if it's true that we are related to them, and we share something with them, and I dare to say that our spirit may be their spirit, and we're here in this form, then yeah, they would have every right. They'll even tell you agreed to do this. So, but I understand taking offense to it, feeling like you've been ripped out of your life, which it can. But if you really think about it and you go back really, really far, as I have done, I remember being in my crib and seeing a face on the other side of the bars. You've seen that piece of artwork I've done. So we don't know. We don't know. That's the problem. And if that's being done, then it's something that's being done to us, and to obtain the data of what it is to be human, what it is to love, what it is to have emotions, and to understand why we war against the other, and all this other stuff. What better thing to do than to take one of your own, put it in human form, and wash its memory of it, and then pick you up every once in a while and check out what's going on. maybe do a download. And this is just all theory. Don't take this as literal, because I don't really know these, because I think about it too all the time. Why is this happening? What's it for? But it keeps going back to that over and over again, that we are related. And when I think about this, and you've heard other people on the show talk about it, they said that when they were young and perfect and innocent, they weren't afraid of the visitors at all. It didn't feel like abduction. It felt like Peter Pan. It felt like playing. This was family, real connection. And you looked at the stars and you longed to get out there to them. So there's something there. Yeah. Or giving false memory. We don't know. I do think that a lot of, and I will close on this because we're getting close. I do think that one of the reasons is just personal. I don't know, again, if this is the truth, but for me, I think the reason that a lot of these abductions have been so terrible is because it's been our government doing it in disguise of being the visitors, because they are so concerned about our relationship with the visitors and what we might be capable of. They're trying to find out. So they'll abduct you. They'll make it seem terrible and awful, trying to get you to separate that communion you have with them, that closeness. I mean, as you get older and grow up, suddenly you start to turn on the whole experience. So I question why that's happening. And you know about the fact that there are dark programs to abduct people. In fact, they did it to me when I was in grammar school. It was them, and it was people. And Whitley wrote a book about that called Solving the Communion Enigma. I highly recommend that book. And if you have memories of this very thing and you think it was just a dream, and then you read that book, you might think again. It's really something. And that's the other thing too, is that I don't mention it enough. Whitley's been a big supporter of Mary and my work for years. He's been in my films. He's been a big supporter. He's written about me in his books. And I highly recommend Unknown Country, his website. If you haven't been to it before, Unknown Country is a great source for information like no other. There's not another site like it on the internet. Plus his interviews with people are pretty amazing too. So, and he's a great guy, and he's writing another book right now. The other day he told me he wished he had time to watch the shows and stuff, but then he'll write me and say, I saw that part where you said, so he is watching it, but he's working on a book right now, which he tells me is something he's never done before. No, there's never been a book done like it before. So I always look forward to his books. I always find them very enjoyable. So I can't say enough good things about Whitley and his work, and Ann Strieber's work too, which seems to live on. And Unknown Country, check it out, because he's certainly promoted us a great deal in the past. Poncho, yeah. Yes, they do. Humans do abduct people, and they make it look like, you're being abducted by aliens, but then it's them. And you are so welcome. And I'm hoping you guys will all watch the premiere tonight. We have that big lead in always. And the reason we do that is to give people time to get in there and settle down. I've had people complain about it. And even with the live streams where I run the images of my artwork, that's designed to give you time. A lot of people, you'll say, oh God, I almost forgot. It's 10 after 6. I meant to be here at 6. Well, so if the show starts at 10 minutes to 6, that's because it's what I call the warm-up, and it allows you to settle in, chat with some of your friends and stuff, and then the show starts, and then you'll all catch it from the beginning, so you have to go back and catch it, because if you don't catch it from the beginning, you miss a lot of things. So I think you know that. So that's why we do that. So I'm going to sign off now, and I want to thank you for the support tonight. You guys are beautiful. Thank you so much. And if you want to tell your story, here we are. We'd love to have you. And if you want to change the world, this is one way to do it. So all you have to do is come in front of our cameras or send Mary an email and she'll read it on the air. So anyway, I love you guys very much. And we'll see you in chat tonight on the premiere, which is up in 15 minutes. We'll see you then.